All right, shalom, shalom. Before I get started, I'm going to go praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah bahasham, Yahawahshi, bahasham Rawchaa Qadash. It's the brother Bakala Walam. Here with another hopeful edifying lesson to the elect body of Yahawah bahasham, Yahawahshi. Right, see the name of this video right here. It says ICE buys warehouse in Berks County that could be converted into detention centers. Right, and you have the men of the Lord, starting with the elders and the apostles, with the same minded doctrine, going down with the same minded doctrine, was telling people that that's what they're doing with these warehouses, with the Walmarts that was closing, which they were trying to say these are conspiracy theorists. Oh, y'all conspiracy theorists. I'm saying they're going to convert these Walmarts. They shutting down these Walmarts and going to convert them into detention centers or FEMA camps. So look what we have here. It says ICE buy warehouse in Berks County that could be converted into detention centers. And also, that's exactly what they was doing. I think over there in the Texas area, there was Walmarts that was closed down. They had housed immigrants in those closed down Walmarts. So it's not a conspiracy theory, man. Right? The conspiracy is against you. You gotta look at what conspiracy means. And that's this government basically coming from the elites, the international bankers. They got a conspiracy against you people. But you know, when people when their plans are exposed, people are looked at as people that's overreacting or just saying things that they assuming out of insanity. They just assuming things and you're trying to pass these people off as insane. But eventually, these things will come to pass. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and 3. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." So basically, we are given these warnings. These visions are for an appointed time, and at the end it shall speak. And it's speaking that these devils are going to come down with great wrath. You know, Revelations chapter 12 and 12, because they know their time is short, right? The devil shall come down with great wrath because he has but a short time. Revelations 12 and 12. And he's going to be throwing people in these, as the scripture says, prison. Basically, that's what these is. These detention centers, FEMA camps, they are prisons, as the scripture says. So, right, we're going to play this video and then, see where the spirit leads.
Right behind me, you see the Berks County warehouse that was purchased by the federal government for $87 million this week. It's massive, and it's zoned for industrial development. It's even right next to an Amazon warehouse. So we've been speaking to a lot of neighbors on the street, to lawmakers and immigration rights activists who are very concerned over the possibility that this could be turned into an ICE detention center.
I was not contacted by ICE. I was not notified. I was not consulted whether they should move forward with this or not.
The surprise multi-million-dollar purchase of a Berks County warehouse by the Department of Homeland Security and possibility it'll be turned into an immigration detention center is causing concern among neighbors.
I'm just worried about the protesters. I certainly don't want them blocking my way.
Some people tell me they support federal immigration enforcement, just not in their backyard.
I don't like the idea. They say if they put violent criminals in there, I'm not happy about that.
Others, like State Rep Joanny Cepeda Freitis, tells me she's worried about her Latino constituents.
The tactics of ICE, their abuse of power, their racially profiling. Our community is already in fear.
The purchase comes as ICE has more than doubled its number of detention facilities in a little over a year. The federal government also just bought the former Big Lots distribution center in Schuylkill County. The warehouse is located right next to a Kids Are Kids childcare center. That owner is worried the area isn't made for this kind of facility. The equipment going in through there, I know there's going to be a lot of traffic. They're going to be using a lot of water and sewer system. Concerns also shared by immigrants' rights groups who say the areas around both warehouses simply don't have the infrastructure to hold thousands of people. If these proposals are allowed to move forward, it will assuredly lead to more human rights abuses. Physical abuse, verbal abuse, sexual assault, medical neglect, and death. NBC 10 has reached out to DHS several times this week, including today at 11 a.m. regarding their plans for the warehouse. They haven't responded. Local officials say they haven't received applications regarding future use of the property. State lawmakers tell me they're looking into what, if anything, they can do to prevent the warehouses to be used to detain humans. Miguel Martinez Valle, NBC 10 News. Get your free
So they told you right there that ICE plans to buy this warehouse, and would be enough? What would the warehouse be other than for um to make it out of the detention center, right? Why would they buy a warehouse? Uh, the ICE, what is it? ICE, the acronym Customs and something Customs and Enforcement, International Customs and Enforcement or something like that. I forgot what ICE. Yeah, Immigration and Custom Enforcement. So like, yeah, immigration. So why would they uh why else would they purchase these facilities for whatever reason? What other reason than making it into a detention center, right? What's the other reason? This is another article. Basically, it says ICE plans to build mega warehouses for immigration detention, sparks growing concern. Right. So they got plans to build mega warehouses. They already trying to purchase this other one from Berks County, right? That's what it was. I believe the area was Berks. Yeah, Berks County. So what else would they buy it for? For whatever reason. It says sources at two government contractors told NBC News they were worried that new warehouses and the large number of immigrants who would be housed in them would present safety problems, right? So it says the Department of Homeland Security plans to purchase and operate mega warehouses to use as immigration detention centers are raising concerns among lawmakers, local residents, and government contractors in the running to operate them, right? So that's exactly what they're going to use them for. These warehouses, they're going to make them into detention centers or FEMA camps, right? Prisons, right? Says the proposed centers are so large that some could house as many as 8,000 detainees at once, according to a DHS spreadsheet of more than 20 potential locations. So there's 20 potential locations that was verified by NBC News. The largest federal prison in the U.S., for example, has roughly 4,000 inmates. So yeah, it's a fucking prison, huh? They're gonna house these people And these detention centers / prisons, man. That's why they purchasing these warehouses. Just like they was turning a few years back, you can search it. You probably have to go on another search engine, but that's what happened. I think it was Texas, or they had put they was housing immigrant children in Walmarts. Look, inside the old Walmart, where 1,500 undocumented immigrants are being held. Right. So where's the conspiracy theory in that? Right. This was in 2018. So it says inside the old Walmart, where 1,500 undocumented immigrant kids are being held. Right. So that's what they was doing, and there was the men of the Lord that was warning that these things, you know, other people was letting people know. They was calling these people conspiracy theorists, and or just talking insane, right? But it's true, right? Walmart disturbed its former stores. Walmart disturbed its former store is holding immigrant children, right? So yeah, that's what they're doing. And it's not a conspiracy theory. The conspiracy is against you people, right? It says that at least three facilities have already been secured. It says one is outside Phoenix, where Immigration and Custom Enforcement pays $70 million for a building the size of 7 football fields, according to NBC affiliate KPNX of Phoenix. It says ICE purchased the 418,000 square foot warehouse in an industrial park in Surprise City. Officials said in a statement that they were not aware of the purchase, that they had not been notified of it, and that they had not been contacted by DHS or any other federal agency, right? Another is outside Philadelphia, where the where ICE bought a warehouse for $87.4 million last month for possible conversion into an immigration detention center, according to NBC Philadelphia. It says the third is in San Antonio, a warehouse of nearly 640,000 square feet that is valued at more than $37 million, according to NBC affiliate WOIA, right? And these are huge warehouses, man. Huge warehouses to house thousands of people at once. Says President Donald Trump said in an interview with NBC News on Wednesday that his administration could use a softer touch on immigration enforcement after federal agents shot and killed 2 U.S. citizens last month in Minneapolis. But Trump also said he hopes to push his immigration crackdown into 5 more cities. So he's going to city, 5 more cities. I seen a post they were talking about this, the presence of the National Guard in D.C. didn't really do anything to deter crime or something to that effect. Let me see. I don't know if I posted on this channel or not. I might not have posted on this channel. Yeah, I don't think I posted on this channel here. Oh, yeah, I don't know where it is. I must have posted it on this one. Yeah, it says National Guard deployment in D.C. having no measurable impact on crime, right? So really on stripes.com. So it didn't have any real significant impact on crime. So what they got another plan at play, you know? They got another plan, right? And basically to house you people. You are next. I know this guy was saying it. You know, they starting with the Northern Kingdom, then they're gonna round up the Southern Kingdom. Also these other people. These other people, they got a plan to round up all you American people to basically make you bow down to the New World Order, submit to the New World Order, and receive this allegiance by taking the MARK, which is the RFID microchip, basically. You know, that's why they erected these things. They're gonna round people up. They using which look at if you haven't looked up this thing called Project Pogo, Project Cypher, David Goldberg, right? He goes into it. You know, they got a plan, which is there's other plans and operations that basically talks about the same thing, but I know this one in particular as what it talks about, rounding up millions of Americans because these small hats, these Jewish people are being exposed for what they are, and they can't have that, and they want to put millions of people to death, and that's their plan. Like I said, go find and look up David Goldberg, Project Pogo, Project Cypher, right? I think I already I think I got it on. I think it's right here on this channel. Give me a second. Let's see. On this one. No, it's like it's not on this. It's on this one right here. David Goldsberg's final words, classified on Washington classified documents. The purge, blackout, financial collapse. Talks about that 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 sick thing that was happening in 2019, that they made a whole issue out of it. It was a worldwide issue. You know what I mean? Pandemic. Look up this right here. Davis Goldberg final words. Project Pogo, Project Zypher. So he talks about this, and this guy that's your current commander in chief, he talks about him, and he's basically in allegiance to these Jewish people, and he's doing their bidding. It's a whole lot he talks about, and you can see it unfolding in this administration, this current administration that we are in. A lot of it's already unfolding. It says Trump says President Donald Trump said in an interview with NBC News on Wednesday that his administration could use a softer touch on immigration enforcement after federal agents shot and killed 2 U.S. citizens last month in Minneapolis. But Trump also said he hopes to push his immigration crackdown into 5 more cities. And as the administration's expanding plans for mass immigration detention, which NBC News first reported in November, are coming into sharper focus, concerns are only growing, right? Concerns are only growing. The day of trouble, the time of trouble like none other, right? Is growing. Evils are growing on the earth, right? As the scripture says, be circumspect, because the days are evil. The key words is okay, all right. Ephesians 5 and 16 says, redeeming the times because the days are evil. See, Salakia, that's what it says. It says, Salakia, Ephesians 5 and 15, it says, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Right? So that's why we are in some evil time. Like they said, there's growing concerns because of what's going on in this administration. And that's just one issue, right? One of the many issues. To be concerned or be circumspect, or be circumspect means watch. Circle means around, spec means look. Watching what's going on around you, locally and globally, right? It says pro immigration community groups in Colorado, Mississippi, and Arizona have already voiced opposition, and and um, and Arizona lawmakers said they worry the purchase of the massive building would mean aggressive immigration enforcement was coming to that area, KPNX reported. It says in Hutchins, Texas, on Wednesday night, the League of Latin American Citizens, the League of United Latin American Citizens, and state officials demonstrated against a proposed ICE facility, according to NBC Dallas Fort Worth. Senator Roger Wicker, Republican of Mississippi, said in a statement Wednesday that he strongly opposed the possibility of a detention center near Byhalia, Mississippi. I am for all immigration enforcement, but this site was meant for economic development and job creation, he posted on X, along with a letter to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. We can't suddenly flood Byhalia with an influx of up to 10,000 detainees. Democratic lawmakers have criticized a proposed facility in Roxbury, New Jersey, and immigrant advocates say a possible detention center in Hudson, Colorado, a rural area more than 30 miles from Denver, would mean lawyers and family members would have difficulty visiting, in part because there is no good public transportation that far away from the city, according to NBC affiliate KUSA of Denver. Said a spokesman for ICE said in a statement it had new funding to expand detention spaces, though no new centers to announce at this time. But said the centers would be well structured facilities that met detention standards. Sites will undergo community impact studies and a rigorous due diligence process to make sure there are no hardship on local utilities or infrastructure prior to purchase. The spokesperson said removing these criminals from the streets makes communities safer for business owners and customers. Well, keep in mind that they had some guy that was murdered. They ruled this guy, immigrant, at a detention center. They ruled his death a homicide. So basically, somebody deleted him at one of these facilities. And there are a lot of people that they said from that alligator Alcatraz, if I'm not mistaken, the majority of the people are missing. The majority of people that was there, that was sent there, they are missing. There's no record of where they went or where they are, where they went, or anything. Like the majority of those people that was detained there, these people are missing, and there's no record of these people where they went. It says to win an ICE warehouse contract, a company must already be doing business with the U.S. Navy and partner with companies that do business with the Navy, according to an executive at the company that housed detainees and is under consideration to run one of the new ICE warehouses. The process was similar when the Trump administration built its largest detention center to date, a spiraling tent facility in Texas. Two government contractors told NBC News that they were worried that new warehouses and the large numbers of immigrants who would be housed in them would present safety problems. hiring staff members for more than 2,500 people, especially in more rural areas, would be very challenging, an executive said, right? At one site, building a detention center the size DHS has requested could drain the town's water supply, the executive said. Another contractor told NBC News that any detention facility with more than 1,500 detainees would be risky, right? So there's not a lot of positivity about these detention centers for the safety and the safety of the facility. You know, the cities where, or the locations where they be how where they will be built or erected or operating. You know, it says the housing estimates for for the warehouses are based on a square footage of potential facilities, and they can change after they have outfitted to accommodate people living in them. It says ICE currently houses more than 70,000 immigrants in 222 facilities nationwide, according to the agency's data from early February. It says the single ICE facility already in operation at Fort Bliss, Texas, not far from the U.S.-Mexico border, has been plagued with problems, and at least 3 immigrants died at the facility over 44 days, right? So look, 3 immigrants died, and you don't know, by maybe due to neglect or whatever, the conditions there. The medical examiner ruled one of the deaths a homicide. Like, why? Well, like I just said, right? It's probably what I was just talking about earlier. It says members of Congress have demanded members of Congress have demanded access to the facility over safety concerns and have gone to court to ask a federal judge to stop the Trump administration's policies that limit access to the facilities and require a weekly notice before a visit. A judge ordered Homeland Security this week to allow lawmakers to make unannounced visits, right? So they want to they want you to give a week's notice so they can try to clean something up. These devils, try to hide. And this is I think this is a photo of areas U.S. spends hundreds of millions of warehouses for U.S. spends hundreds of millions on warehouses for ICE. And these are some of the locations, they sporadically throughout the Americas. It says 10,000 beds, 5,000 beds, 5.5 thousand beds. They probably got more. They got these facilities sporadically throughout America, all throughout these different cities and regions. All right. Let's try to look at one of these pictures. Residents say a town of 5,000 people doesn't have the infrastructure to support a large jail. All right. So they got these facilities in the middle of nowhere. Paso, Texas, El Paso, Texas, Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. There's another right here. It says local sheriffs. Local sheriffs are turning their jails into ICE detention centers, basically, right? I think that's what it is. Local sheriffs are turning their jails into ICE detention centers. Right? So I think you gotta probably pay for this. Right? So these jails, these sheriffs are turning their jails into detention centers, man. Like I said, because that's what these devils gonna do. I think that's Revelation chapter 3 and 10. Right? That's the devil's intention for everybody. Revelation chapter. Oh, that's Revelation 12 and 12. So like, so like, I'm gonna just read this one too. This is Revelation 12 and 12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Right? So that's the devil's coming down with great wrath, because he know he has but a short time. And what he's going to be doing is casting you into prison. This is Revelation chapter 2 and 10. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall come down. Salakia. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and that ye have tribulation 10 days. That 10 days mean just a number amount of days, right? Any a specific amount of days, right? You probably be in there some type, a specific amount, a certain amount of days gonna be in there. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Because some brethren are gonna get caught up. These devils. Some gonna be martyrs, right? Beheaded for the truth. Because also going back to this guy Obama, they said he ordered like 30,000 guillotines, right? And they housing these things in these facilities, man. So some men are gonna be martyrs, get caught up in this thing. Some are not, But Revelation chapter 2 and 10, that's is a part of what's written. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So that's what this devil doing, erecting these detention centers, these prisons, due to this is part of this great wrath. His time is short. He's in desperation mode. He's being revealed, and the only thing he got left is the sword. That's how this devil. That's what this devil got left is the sword. Let me see. A great multitude. Where is it? Yeah, it is. Revelation, second Ezra chapter 16 and 68. It says, "For behold, a burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you being idle with things offered unto idols." Right. So they're gonna take away a certain amount of people and cast them into these detention centers, FEMA camps, prisons, and take you out of your houses, and give you an ultimatum, basically. Either take the MARK, which is the FRID microchip, or be put to death, beheaded. You know, that's that things and feed you being idle with things offered into idol. So that's what this microchip is, an idol, right? This device, part of this beast system. Feed you is that's what they're gonna try to have you take, you know, which is which is showing your allegiance to this devil, which is idolatry, right? Taking his RFID microchip, you're showing your allegiance and servitude to this devil, serving him, serving his idol, idolatry, you know. Verse 69, it says, "And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot. For there shall be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord," right? Just like Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and 1. A day of trouble, a time of trouble like none other, right? They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. And that you see, that's happening now. These people, they saying these ICE agents are out of control. They're not trained properly. They're grabbing people up without any with impunity. They're putting people to death. Your vice presidents and government officials saying they have immunity. Like they put these two Edomites allegedly, put them to death, and they were saying they was not at fault. So these devils gonna be like madmen, you know. They Esau Edom already think that's how he's trying to conduct himself. He's above the law. He can do whatever. These devils in these uniforms been doing that. They think they're above the law. That's why it was a pain. It was a pain for these devils when they had to wear these body cams. It was a pain for them. You can tell it. It was a pain for these devils because they more or less they're going to be accountable because they're on camera, right? Because that's how Esau rolls. He think he's the lawless one. He's above the law. The law doesn't apply to him. These devils, right? That's how they think. So yeah, these devils are erecting these detention centers, and that's the whole purpose. They're trying to erect these detention centers. Even it says local facilities used for ICE detention. They even turning these jails into facilities for ICE sporadically all throughout the nation, right? From East Coast to West Coast, North to South. You even got sheriffs turning their jails into detention centers. And also they trying to purchase these big warehouse facilities. They already got these Walmarts where immigrant children is and immigrants are already. So it's not a conspiracy theory, right? So I'm going to go in and off there. I hope it was edifying to the elect. And I'm going to say, call Halayimlah, Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawahshi, bahasham, Rawchaa Qadash. Shalom till the next time, Yahawah Ratazah, which means Lord willing, and why, bye.